Hello everyone. Today's video will be one of 4 videos where I'll share everything related to the machine, from the ink pad to the technique of using the machine for 40 minutes with just natural fibers. The hyper microblading technique is a very popular one, and many of you have signed up to learn it. Right now, you're all very interested in questions like, which machine can be used for the hyper microblading technique on the machine for 40 minutes? Or can the pen machine do it or not? Or should you use a single needle or multiple needles? There are so many questions, especially from those of you asking whether complete beginners can learn this technique, which needle and which machine will suit everyone, and whether there's a process or level for those learning hyper microblading with these tools. Let me just mention briefly, over 1,000 machines have been sent out recently. In the first batch, there was a shipping issue, but in the second batch, you've already received them. If you haven't received yours yet, please contact me to get your gift. So now, I'll share with you that for the hyper microblading technique, we have about 3 machines to use. The first is the pen machine, the second is the hyper microblading Model S, and the third is Model Y. These 3 machines are divided into 2 different levels, one for beginners, those just practicing or experiencing, and the second level for masters or those who want to study more deeply. No matter your level, you can do well even with just the single needle. I've had students who only used the single needle but were able to work on clients and earn money, even if they'd never studied before. That's because our single needle is designed not to cause damage, and it still holds color immediately after just one pass. That's the skill of the hyper microblading technique. Let me introduce you to the single needle technique. This uses the pen machine. For those of you enrolled in the second hyper microblading class, you'll receive a box of single needles, a box of multiple needles, and a pen machine to use. This is the first level, and almost anyone who learns can do a pair of brows in 30 to 40 minutes. In fact, when I do brows with this single needle, sometimes it only takes me 15 minutes because it's so simple, quick, and the ink adheres very easily. This technique is special because it's not like the usual techniques. With the chopper technique and other methods, the needle is very long, and those who have been doing permanent makeup for years but have weak skills, when they work on the skin, if their hand isn't steady, the needle can go too deep and cause a lot of damage. But with the hyper microblading single needle, it has a stopper. That means when you run it over the skin and press down, the needle can't go too deep because the stopper is already there, so it can't cause injury. You only need to go over it once for the ink to take and create a very soft stroke. Now, I'll demonstrate for you. First, let's compare 2 types of needles. Here's a regular single needle. When I push it out, you can see the stopper is very long and the needle is sharp. This requires us to have a steady hand. For those used to the hair stroke technique, this needle is normal, but for beginners, it's very difficult. So, when we designed the hyper single needle, you can see it has a stopper, and this stopper only lets the needle tip protrude by 0.03 millimeters. That makes it very safe and prevents injury. This needle does have a slight downside. It can cause a bit of ink spillage. The stopper looks like this, and the needle only sticks out a tiny bit at the end. This needle fits into a regular pen machine. This is the mass pen machine, and you'll get this pen machine, a box of these needles, and a box of 11 needle cartridges if you sign up for the second class. I'll turn on the machine and dip it in ink as usual. This needle does have a slight tendency to spill a bit of ink, so I'll go over it now. After that, I'll wipe it off so you can see. The ink goes in almost immediately, right away. The stroke is very fine, and the needle is thin from start to finish, so I don't use the one-head technique, and it's safe. That's why it doesn't tear the skin or cause injury, and the ink goes in almost instantly. I'll go over it again for you to see. Usually, I use a bit of water to wipe it off for you to see. If you go a bit slower, the ink goes in more evenly and colors right away with just one pass. In my Hyper Microblading course, all students are taught each step and each stroke very thoroughly with the single needle and then with the multiple needles. Once you've mastered the techniques and how to load ink into the needle, you'll create beautiful work. I've just demonstrated this needle for you all. You can see it doesn't cause any damage, it just spills a bit more ink, so the ink control isn't as good. For those who haven't learned the technique but buy this needle, can you use it? Yes, you can buy it and try it out. All these tools are available at www.vitabrow.com in the shop section. You can contact me, buy them, and try them out. For students enrolled in my second class, I'll give you this single needle and the 11 needle cartridge for the pen machine, plus the machine itself. You get both the needles and the machine to learn with, so you don't have to spend too much. These two needles are made for all types of pen machines, so you can use them with any pen machine. In the next video, I'll introduce the 11 needle cartridge, which meets the criteria for the Hyper Microblading technique.